Welcome to Salcedo Paranormal. It is Monday, October 3rd, 2022, and tonight I will be covering paranormal news. As always, you can find all episodes of the show along with links to social media, ways to donate, and ways to contact me at the podcast page, and that is salcedoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions or stories of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. Thank you all for listening, as always, whether you're here for the live streams, I see you all there, or you listen to the podcast or YouTube feeds. And it looks like this Wednesday, Derek will be joining me again. We'll be covering another comic book event geared more towards this Halloween season. So that'll be fun. And of course, tomorrow night will be true stories, true paranormal stories from the web. And then Thursday will be more news. So that is the plan for this week. Looking into one or two other special episodes this month. But I don't have everything nailed down just yet, so we'll just save those and leave those as surprises until we get a little bit closer to them. So, I always like to do something, at least one or two special things for this month, of course. So, I have 5 articles for today I'll talk about. I've already put them in the stream chat channel, the text channel, and I will, of course, include them in the episode description. So, and that's on the podcast and YouTube feeds, so that you all can check them out, because I always just summarize them, and so there's a lot more there than I can ever fit into a show, plus, of course, videos and pictures as well. So, I always recommend checking out these articles on your own whenever you can, and to get the whole story. So, I have a couple articles regarding, let's say, UFOs tonight, and the other 3 more about haunted places. So a good little mix of things today. And so we can start with this first one. And that is from KEZJ.com. And the title is Watch 3 UFO, guessing it's what they mean UFOs, but 3 UFOs caught dancing in the sky over southern Idaho. So let me get into this article here. And it seems like there are more and more of these sightings all around the country and all around the world. It's really amazing to me, because, of course, there are going to be some that are most likely satellites or drones or planes or stars or planets. But I always think that it's good to look into these in case it's not something that's, or satellites, in case it's not something that can just easily be written off. So, let's see here. This article starts off with a bit from the writer. I'm not seeing their name in the reader mode version, but let's see here. So the author of this article mentions that they had a sighting, and with their kids, and they were they were able to get footage of it, and oh wow! So they had this sighting, and they used a car camera. That's interesting. To capture this light that they were seeing in the sky, and when they brought the camera, the flash drive, into the house to check out the footage, it was actually gone from the flash drive. And they mention um, how this kind of happens and how things seem to mysteriously vanish, whether it's a malfunction or intentional, who knows? But yeah, so neat little first part of this article here. But they mention that there was more sightings in the area, and including one of three UFOs flying around. It says mentions that the person recorded the sighting through a scope, so they say it isn't high quality. I always worry about that with using scopes, especially it doesn't really say here, but um, if it was attached to a weapon of some kind, I always worry about that just in case, because you never know what's going on there. But it doesn't necessarily mean that was the case in the story. But yeah, so apparently there's these lights that we're seeing in the sky, and these lights are seen all over the place. So, um, so yeah, they have a picture here that they've shared in the article, and you can see one near the top of the picture and then two near the bottom. So, and it goes into more details about how people are there are more reports of these sightings all over the place. But of course, now there are satellites and things like that. So, uh, and they mentioned that it's usually if you see lights that are moving around or seem to be dancing around in weird or extreme angles, then that might be something strange going on there. So, and it goes into uh, more stuff here for other articles, but yeah, so neat article there about a couple of sightings, and check it out for more details and for the image. So, and we have another one here. That is, I just noticed that now that both of these articles use the word dance in their title to describe the way these things are flying around. This one is from khmoradio.com, and the title is uh, Watch 5 UFOs Dance in the Sky Over Vacationers in Branson, and that's in Missouri. And so let's see here. Apparently, um, there's this video that has been uncovered by the reporter here that was captured by some people that were visiting the area that that they saw these. Apparently, let's see here. I'm looking for details on the. They're just calling them objects, but I'm guessing it's lights based on why what they're saying here. Yeah, so lights. They are lights. And but I just really think it's amazing that these things are said to be dancing around. Um, so moving around in weird ways in the sky. And let's see here. And they mention, of course, that UFO does not necessarily mean alien. Just means it hasn't been solved yet as to what the people there were seeing. So, but still amazing. Again, I always like to keep that possibility open that it is something um, paranormal or unexplainable in nature. So, neat couple of articles there. And again, I hadn't noticed it before that they both described the lights that they were seeing as somewhat dancing around in the sky. So, That's it for the UFO section of the show tonight. I've got three more articles here, and let's see here. The next one is another one of these sightings on by people watching a TV show, and I never know what to make of these because on the one hand, it seems like it's the perfect time of the year for all these kinds of articles to show up, and so you have to take into to account that these things could be hoax, no matter what the people say. Even if the people that have the experience or the sighting or the people that are in the show aren't aware it's a hoax, there's always that possibility of the people that are making the show or the network that's making the show inserting things in there to generate more publicity for the show. But then I think it's important to include the possibility that maybe some people do see strange things in these TV shows. So this is actually from hgtv.com, and I wonder why there are. If I don't know, it seems like there'd be more of these. If there's, it's just odd that this is not a super common thing. If it's, I don't know, it's just really, I don't know how to feel about this one. I guess is what I'm trying to say there. But this one says fans spot a ghost-like figure in the latest episode of Farmhouse Fixer. That's apparently the name of the show. I don't watch any of those kind of shows, so I know nothing about this stuff really. But apparently, there is a figure caught in the window in the footage of. Now, here's the other part where it makes me wonder of the John Proctor house, and this is, of course, John Proctor of that is connected with the Salem witch trials. So this this article mentions a bit of the history there. We don't really need to go too deep into that because it's a pretty well covered topic. If you look up that just Salem witch trials, you can find plenty on that in terms of podcasts and all that. Basically, people that were tried and convicted for being in league with paranormal forces and evil forces and all that. But so let's see here. The show the people that are doing the show noticed that there were crosses on the walls everywhere. Apparently, they really tried to describe this house as being giving off ominous feelings, which of course could be just due to the history of the location and the area, and both in particular in that house, and then also the just in general. But so there's a lot of that kind of atmospheric description here of how the people there kind of felt in the area, and again, I think some of that can be explained away by that kind of that suggestion and that knowledge of history. But the one thing that was caught on the footage of the show was a long-haired figure, it says, staring soberly out of an upstairs window of the home. And apparently it appears to be a girl with long hair in the image. And so they talk about how they went straight to the people that were online went straight to the people that were making the show and asked about it, and they say that they were surprised as well. So yeah, there's more and more of the, like I said, the all paranormal is evil kind of thing here, or at least very strongly hinted at that possibility. But still a neat sighting as well. So And I always like to share these just in case that could be something actually paranormal. And so when it was caught on TV, and apparently you can find the show on one of the major streaming networks. It's part of the Discovery Plus network, which, coincidentally or not, is also where a lot of the paranormal reality shows can be found. So always a mixed bag when you find these sightings that are recorded on major TV shows. It's always hard to know which way to take it. But anyway, so that's that article, and I have two more here. But so this next one, let's see here, is from news.yahoo.com. That's one that doesn't pop up too often in these shows. But this one, the title is "I Stayed in One of Colorado's Most Haunted Hotels, and its ghost stories kept me up all night." Now this article has plenty of pictures in it, and it has some bullet points here where the author spent the night in the Hotel Colorado, known as one of the state's most haunted places. Guests there have reported flickering lights, doors unlocking, and a lingering smell of cigar smoke. Now, the cigar smoke, from what I've heard, can be explained away in certain cases where it's actually been absorbed by the wood, I believe, if I have it right. And different conditions, environmental conditions, can possibly allow for that smell to come back out from the wood. If I'm not mistaken, there's something, I have to look into that more. But so this article talks about this place, and it's in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. And let's see here. Looking at all the pictures, there are some neat pictures here of the place. And so yeah, it seems like maybe there's something going on there. More reports have included that of a sighting of a ghostly woman in a floral dress in the so it might be the I'm sorry, I'm just reading this as I go, to the hotel's owner as well, being spotted in the hallways there. And it says it was built in 1893, and it was designed to accommodate apparently wealthy travelers. And let's see here. So it mentions some of the people that have stayed there were really well known celebrities and or politicians. And the hotel has 130 historic rooms today. And let's see here. Goes into more detail just about the accommodations there. And so yeah, it describes the historic decorations and all that. So, and there are pictures. So, really neat. And little article there about this place. I think I've heard of it. I haven't looked into it, but there are so many places that are said to be haunted that it's just hard to look into all of them. So, but still a fun read, I think. And then there's the pictures as well. So, definitely check that one out as well. And I have one more article here. Oops, I almost clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. That would have been bad because that would have started audio that I did not want. So let's see here. Okay, yeah. So the smoke thing makes sense. Yeah, I feel like I've heard that APOC on other shows where that's a that's something that can happen naturally. I do think there are some cases where maybe it happens because of um, paranormal circumstances, but again, I think it's never as simple as it's one thing or the other. I think there can be both. So, um, so let's see here. This last article, this is something I haven't covered a lot of, but it's definitely a common thing if you look around online. And that's really odd. I got a pop up. I thought I had this article on reader mode. Let me just take care of that real quick, and hopefully that'll take care of that. All right. So this article is from hercampus.com, I believe is how you say that. I think that's right. It says 9 haunted places to visit on college campuses. Now, a lot of colleges, a fair number of them, have been around for 100 or more, or 200 years. And even there were places, buildings on the properties before they were set up there. So it does seem like you can find a lot of stories about um, haunted campuses, haunted colleges. Really goes back to that whole idea of haunted schools and haunted just places where there are a lot of people that are coming and going at all times. And so let's see here. I'll go through the first couple here, and then I'll leave the rest for you all to check out. But the first one they mentioned here is Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. Now, I listened to another podcast, 6 Degrees of John Keel, where the hosts are from or have lived in that area, and they say that area is really active paranormal wise as far as just weird energies throughout the whole area. So this is kind of um, neat to see this place mentioned as well. Um, okay, so it mentions that this college is the oldest higher education institution in the state, founded in 1804. Wow. So yeah, there you go, 200 plus years old. So let's see here. Mentions that one spot that is known to be haunted is a dormitory, known as or called Wilson. Let's see, Wilson Hall. Yeah. Apparently, objects mysteriously move and even fly off walls. There are flickering lights experienced there, among other things. So I'm looking into this more. Chris, they have other stories here about possible rituals performed there by students and reports of astral projection. I'm sorry, that's associated with the rituals and everything. At least according to this article. And so yeah, that's the first location they talk about a little bit. This next one is Gettysburg College, Penn Hall. Now this is okay. So this was the one I was thinking of. Of course, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And that's a really major hotspot, and there are lots of stories you can find in there about that area. I mean, just look it up, Gettysburg online. Maybe put in haunted. You might not even have to put in haunted. So, so this campus had reports. Okay, see now they're citing a report that I've heard in a couple different shows, where these two people that worked there, in this hall. So this is this place, okay. Penn Hall. They got into the elevator, and it went down or it didn't go where they wanted it to go. It went down to the basement. And when the doors opened, they found themselves looking at a Civil War hospital scene there. Basically, people that were working on other people's injuries and it was just terrifying to them. And of course, eventually the elevator doors closed and they were able to get out of there. But that I've seen and heard that reported on a couple of different shows, and yeah, that's quite the experience to have. That's not just it's not just something they saw. That's a manipulation possibly of the elevator technology, which is something that is somewhat a common thing. You can hear about that if you look into places. They'll say that the elevators go up and down on their own, but that's taking that to a whole other level, um, literally. But so yeah, that doesn't say much more than that about that location. But I'm guessing if that's going on, there's probably other stuff as well. Um, this next one is Penn State University, um, Schwab Auditorium, and apparently this location is still used for concerts, many different kinds of concerts, but also there's reports there of of activity. Let's see here. Apparently, a lot of the presidents of the university have been buried by this location, so that's odd. Um, let's see here. So the it mentions that the person that the auditorium was named after, who was a trustee with the name of Charles Schwab, um, apparently is also seen wandering around that building. Of course, long after he passed. And looking into this more, there have been sightings reported of many things. Doesn't really. Let's see here. Doesn't go into much detail about the other stuff, but these are really very much just fast reports of one or two things here, unfortunately. But so there's 6 more locations that they talk about in this article. A lot of them, yeah. So these are just places throughout the country, and so definitely check out that article for the rest of those stories and those locations, all in universities and colleges. So that's it for today. Uh, but I think that takes care of all the articles. So yep, that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow night with true paranormal stories from the web on the next episode of Salcedo Paranormal. Take care, everyone.